The three witches are talking about when they'll meet again and meet Macbeth.
This is where Ross, Duncan, Malcolm, and the captain condemn the Thane of Cawdor for treason. Macbeth is praised in this scene. Macbeth is also known for being very violent and killing a man from his nave to his chops. The witches meet up, and one sister talks about how she wanted some nuts, but this girl wouldn't give her any, so she casts a terrible storm upon the girl's husband at sea, and it would last 81 weeks. Macbeth and Banquo come upon the witches, and the witches tell them of their futures.
Act 1, Scene 6. King Duncan and the gang arrive at Macduff's house. Act 1, Scene 7. Lady Macbeth and Macbeth are talking about murdering King Duncan for Macbeth to become the king. Lady Macbeth is mocking him and convincing him and saying that he is not man enough to do it. In Act 2, Scene 1, Banquo and Macbeth talk about the three witches. Banquo states he had a dream about the three witches. Macbeth sees a floating dagger that is trying to lead him to King Duncan's room. In Act 2, Scene 2, Macbeth brings the dagger that he saw floating into King Duncan's room and kills him. Macbeth immediately regrets this, and as he walks back, Lady Macbeth says, "Why do you still have the dagger?" Lady Macbeth proceeds to bring the bloody dagger to the two drunken men. She says her hands are as red as Macbeth's, meaning they're both equally responsible for King Duncan's murder. In Act 2, Scene 3, a porter hears knocking at the door in the castle. He is clearly drunk and he believes he is the gatekeeper of hell. At the door, as Macduff, to wake up the king, Macbeth and Lennox get Macduff and take him to the king's chamber. Macduff sees that the king is dead. As Lennox and Macbeth are talking, Macduff comes screaming, "Horror, horror, horror!" Macduff tells the two men that the king has been murdered. Macduff tells Banquo, Donalbain, and Malcolm that the king has died. Malcolm screams to sound the alarm. After everybody is informed that the king has died, Macbeth enters and states that he has killed the two guards who killed the king. Everybody wonders why he killed the two soldiers. He states, "Is it possible to be wise, bewildered, calm, furious, loyal, and neutral at the same time? Nobody can do that. The violent rage inspired by my love for Duncan caused me to act before I could think." Ross, Macduff, and the old man discuss the unnatural occurrences following King Duncan's demise.
Act 3, Scene 1. Banquo becomes suspicious of Macbeth's actions. Macbeth questions Banquo about going riding with his son, Fleance, and tells him to hurry back for the feast that they will be the main attraction of. Macbeth fears Banquo and is now talking to three murderers about plotting the murder of Banquo and his son Fleance. Macbeth convinces them that Banquo is the root of all their problems and is the fault for all their misfortunes. Act 3, Scene 2. After Macbeth's assassination of King Duncan, he does not feel any remorse for murdering anyone else. Because of this, Macbeth begins to fear Banquo into thinking that he or his son Fleance will kill Macbeth. Macbeth begins to then plot Banquo and Fleance's murder. Act 3, Scene 3. Banquo and his son Fleance stop riding. Banquo and his son are attacked by three murderers, and Banquo gets killed. But before Banquo completely dies, he tells his son Fleance to flee. Act 3, Scene 4. At the party, people begin to get worried about Banquo and his son Fleance's whereabouts. Macbeth, although, becomes informed that Banquo is dead, but his son Fleance has escaped. They eventually begin the party without them. Banquo, though, appears later in the party as a ghost. This scares Macbeth very much. People begin to think Macbeth has a very serious mental illness, and people need to leave the party. The three witches from the previous scenes get scolded by Hecate. Hecate is mad because they did not acknowledge to Hecate that they were telling Macbeth and Banquo the prophecies of their future. Act 3, Scene 6. A lord and Lennox are discussing who to blame for the killing of King Duncan. The lord talks about how Malcolm can bring peace to the lands if he
Act 4, Scene 1. The witches appear and put ingredients into a cauldron for a spell on Macbeth. Macbeth appears and demands the witches to tell the truth about Macbeth's prophecies. They eventually tell him the 3 stipulations of his killing. Act 4, Scene 2. Ross warns Lady Macduff and her son to flee because they are soon to be in danger. The murderers then come and kill Lady Macduff. Act 4, Scene 3. Macduff goes to Malcolm and asks him to take back the throne from Macbeth. Malcolm tests Macduff's loyalty as well. Ross enters and they discuss overthrowing Macbeth. Then Macduff finds out his wife and son were murdered. Macduff is advised to turn his sadness into rage and fight.
In the beginning of Act 5, Lady Macbeth is going crazy over the guilt of the murder of the king. This is the scene where Macbeth learns that 10,000 strong Englishmen are approaching, but he isn't worried. The doctor also reports that Lady Macbeth is suffering from a mental sickness. The Thanes Lennox, Menteith, Caithness, and Angus march with the English army toward Birnam Wood. There they plan to purge Macbeth. Malcolm wants every soldier to break off a branch and hold it in front of them. This will conceal the amount of soldiers they have, and this will give Macbeth's spies an accurate intel. And this is how the Birnam Woods really appears to be moving.
The Thanes and the English soldiers begin to move using branches of trees as camouflage. This spooks Macbeth because he was not supposed to die until the Birnam Woods move. The English army gets rid of their branches and begin to charge to Macbeth's castle. Lady Macbeth is overtaken with guilt and kills herself. Malcolm and Seward discuss that victory is near. Macbeth kills young Seward. Macduff enters and seeks to find Macbeth. Macbeth learns that Macduff was not born of a woman but untimely ripped. Macbeth and Macduff fight only to see the death of Macbeth. Malcolm gets named the new King of Scotland.